So, my name is Andrew, and this is David, and this is our quadrilateral review and sometimes, always, never game. David's going to start by...
The program first reviews information on each aspect of the quadrilaterals, such as parallelograms, which consist of rectangles, rhombuses, and squares.
Once the user decides that they have full understanding of the information, they can type in Go, which triggers the rest of the code, which starts with like a review, basically of all the information. And then once you read the full review, it'll give you a portion of a sometimes, always, never questionnaire. So I ask you like a few questions, and then once you're done that, it'll give you more review, and then a second.
Now, David, is this something that you're currently learning in math?
We just passed the lesson, so I have a full understanding of what we're learning.
Okay. Now, do you feel that what you did in this class was a little helpful to what you were doing in math class?
Yeah, I used it to study a little bit.
Oh, okay, good. Now, can you picture, Andrew, someone next year using this program before they start quadrilaterals, so they can learn a little bit more about the different types of quadrilaterals?
I think it would be helpful before and also during the studying process before you take a test.
Okay.
Because it gives you the sometimes, always, never questions are often present on these type of tests.
Okay, good. Okay, continue, guys.
Okay, so now we're going to show you how our code works.
Okay.
So we can run it first. So basically, here it shows you all the code and review of, this is the code for it and how the program would run.
Okay.
And it shows here the review of the information, so it gives you first it starts with parallelograms. Here.
Okay.
It gives all the properties of each of the quadrilaterals that are going to be presented.
So it's like a little tutorial before you can actually start answering questions?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it'll give you here the definition. So since we started first learning about parallelograms, the program gives a definition of it.
Okay.
And then the properties, and then the certain quadrilaterals that fall under the classification of parallelogram.
Okay.
So it has rectangle, rhombus, and square.
Okay.
And then it gives all the properties after the definition.
Okay, so from what I understand, you want to explain to students the differences between the quadrilaterals that your geometry teacher is explaining.
Yeah.
For example, parallelogram versus rectangle versus rhombus versus square.
Right.
What about a trapezoid or a kite?
Well, that was the second part. This is the primary part, which consists of only parallelograms.
Okay.
Is the part that is explained here.
Okay.
And then once you would type in Go after you've digested all this information, it would run a questionnaire portion for this set of information.
Okay. So go ahead and type Go.
Okay. For some reason it's...
You want to reload...
Type now.
You want to reload the program on Trinket? Oh, Go? Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's see what the first question is. A parallelogram is sometimes, always, or never a quadrilateral. I will say always.
Okay. So you have to do capital letter.
Okay.
And then since you got it correct, it'll go to the next question.
Okay, now let's see. Mr. Gambrell, a rectangle is always, sometimes, or never equilateral. Don't look at me that way, Mr. G.
Always.
Always? Type it in.
Now see, since he got it wrong, it would go back to the first question. You have to start all over.
Okay, Alex, what is the answer? A parallelogram is always, sometimes, or never a quadrilateral.
Sometimes. Oh my god.
Really? Really?
First question again.
Wrong again. Okay, type always.
Oh no, you would have to, sorry. You have to, since you got it wrong, you'd have to start over and do the first question again.
Okay.
In order to get to the second one.
Okay, now show me in your code, if somebody gets it wrong, how it goes back to the beginning. Where's that line of code control?
Okay, so, for example, here I'll go to this So for number 1, for example, here it says, it prints the question, and then if A equals always, which is the correct answer, it'll print correct. And then else, if it's wrong, then it'll say try again, and then it'll call the variable game.
You mean it'll call on the function game?
The function game, sorry.
Okay.
And then this will run the complete function all over again.
Okay, now go show us, David, where game is.
The game's right here.
The game function. Okay.
It's right here. It's,
All right.
It's all the questions that are presented in the.
Okay, now how many functions are how many questions are under the function game?
I believe there is 9 or 10.
Okay, so basically you're limited. This quiz is or this game is limited to 10 questions.
This portion of the game.
Okay.
Then once you complete this portion of the game, it'll run a code for the non-parallelogram quadrilaterals like
Okay.
kites, isosceles trapezoids,
Oh, okay.
and trapezoids.
Okay, great. Okay, this is an outstanding program, guys. Folks, what could they do better to improve this program? Does anybody have any suggestions? Any suggestions? What can they do to improve?
I have one.
Yes, Mr. G.
Maybe we can offer hints.
Oh, great! Outstanding.
No, well,
Outstanding suggestion.
How much more hints could we give if we gave you an entire review before the entire game?
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I guess, guys, listen, guys. I guess what Mr. Gambrell is saying is, while you're asking a question, remember the people, David, that are learning this are new to these concepts, so they may just need a little bit of help to kind of have them understand. You're assuming that when they read all that information at the beginning that they're going to be able to assimilate it right away, and that's not necessarily the case. So by giving them hints, you're going to help them along. One of the things about games is you want to make it challenging enough so that they continue playing a game, but not so challenging that they're turned off by it.
Right.
Okay? So that's something that's a creative thing. Very good, Mr. Gambrell.
Thank you.
Okay? Any other suggestions, guys? Any other suggestions? Yes.
I think that they should have a little bit more variety of the questions instead of just always, sometimes, always, never.
Oh, okay,
Another
so-
big problem that we have in the test is we do a lot of solving, a
Oh,
lot of algebra in it, and that's what people have trouble with because it involves the properties with.
okay, great.
So I think that's another.
Very good. Very good suggestion. Okay, Max.
I think it shouldn't go back to the beginning when you get one question wrong.
I was
Because this isn't
I was
like-
thinking that. Okay, so if you have a 10-question quiz, and let's say that you're getting the first 5 or 6 right, and you get number 7 wrong, why should you be forced to go back to the beginning and answer those 5 or 6 again?
Well, I think it's a good idea to maybe break it down so it doesn't completely go back to the beginning. But the good part about it going back to the beginning is there's like the repetition factor.
Uh-huh.
So it helps like the information get into your head
Okay.
by going back.
Is that good? Is that a good answer, guys?
But I think that before, like, going to what Gambrell was saying about the hints, they should have the hints as a warning, and then if they still can't figure it out with the hints, then they should go back to the beginning.
Okay, great. Great suggestion. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, David, what would you do to improve this program? If you had a little more time to work on it, what would you do?
I'd give what the audience wants, hints, and
Uh-huh.
I give hints, and then probably not go back to the beginning.
Right, okay. Andrew, what about you?
I think maybe if we incorporated like pictures in there to help them.
Pictures. And remember, I had mentioned ASCII art.
Right.
Okay, if you having problems like bringing in a library, a GUI, a container to host like a picture, you could still go to use print statements and do ASCII art. And it's real easy to draw an isosceles trapezoid as opposed to a regular trapezoid with ASCII art. Does that make sense? Okay, guys, I think this was a very, very good start. It's a very good start, okay? Before I present this presentation to your math teacher, I would want you to make some of the changes that were suggested here, okay?
But the game isn't like completely finished. We obviously wanted to add some of the stuff like the pictures and all that, but like
Right.
just to give everybody a broader understanding of what we're trying to do, we just presented this.
Okay, great. And it was outstanding effort, guys. Okay, very good.
And one more suggestion.
Yes, Mr. Gambrell.
Does it only have to be 10, or is it like a demo, or is it like the full version? Is the full version gonna have more questions?
Well, maybe we'll do more of a variety, so it won't be only sometimes, always, never. It'll be like different problems, like solving problems. And
Right,
So we would have like a little longer review instead of just 10 questions.
right.
the primary purpose of this review is just to get down packed the properties and like the definitions of all the quadrilaterals for like a test. And it was more of like a review, and it could also be used as a learning function, but primarily just like as a refresher of the information.
What do you prefer, trinket or Nthought canopy?
I would say trinket because
Trinket.
it gives you exactly what you need to do when you get a line of code wrong.
So it's helpful. The error messages that you get if you have to debug are helpful.
Yeah.
And I personally like Trinket because it allows you to port your Python code over to a device like an iPhone or an iPad.
Yeah.
Nthought Canopy is pretty much for Windows, and if there is a Mac version, the download is like 300 megs or something. It takes forever to run a Python program in Canopy.
Yeah, I also think it's good because like you can log in from anywhere. So if you forgot to save it onto like a flash drive or on like upload to Google Drive,
Yeah.
it's here like available on any computer.
Right. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Questions, comments?
No.
Okay. Very good, guys. Very good, gentlemen. Good job.